Welcome back to Quinte Connection. Happy spring. Hope your March is off to a good start. Well, coming up on the show, we've got more about that Working Quinte Career Fair happening at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center later on this spring. Also a bit more about the Quinte Pickleball Association with Jody Jenkins. But joining us, local filmmaker Doug Knutson is with us from Windswept Productions, as he's got a great documentary that was part of Belleville Downtown Dogfest, really highlighting hunger, food insecurity, and all the things we read about in the news here in Bay of Quinte and beyond. So Doug, so great to meet you. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks very much for having me.
So the documentary is called Hunger at Home, Food Insecurity in Belleville. It's now playing on your TV, Quinte. So if you're flicking the channel, you'll see it on the station here. Why did you want to really do this now, Doug, especially with all the headlines that we've seen?
Well, I was asked by a group, local United Churches got together last summer and wanted to commemorate World Food Sunday or World Food Day, which happens in October. And usually it's like a focus on offshore, some famine or place of hunger is very prevalent. But obviously, as we know now, hunger is a problem right here in town. Apparently, a quarter to, I've heard, as high as a third of all homes in the Quinte area are experiencing some sort of food insecurity. So anyway, I was invited to be part of this little committee to organize this Sunday, and with the video background, I was asked to do the documentary on it. So that's where it all stemmed from.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the half-hour documentary, for folks who haven't seen it yet, kind of goes through you driving around town, interviewing lots of staff from a variety of different agencies that are on the front line of this, Salvation Army Belleville and stuff like that. Was there anything that really surprised you, Doug? I know you mentioned, just the alarming number of households that are deemed food insecure.
Well, the situation, other than what you see driving around or walking on the street, was as new to me as anybody. And it really struck me right off the bat, the quality of the interviews that I was getting, and the passion and the commitment of the people who were involved. I thought from the very first interview, I thought, boy, if the rest of them are like this is going to be, quite compelling. And they were all equally as compelling and dedicated to what they're doing. So really, it was just an eye-opening experience. I mean, my very first stop was the Bridge Street Church, which, as we all know, is sort of ground zero in Belleville for the situation. But we had a very short period of time to work on this, and essentially it was interview, I forget the number, I think about 8 or 9 organizations. And of course, as soon as you finish something, you find out other organizations are doing things you wish you could cover them as well. And my problem at the end was what to cut out, because they said so much really good stuff. It was, picking out the nuggets that were that should be in the final edit. Well, you mentioned the driving around bit. It was a little funny. That was actually Thanksgiving Monday. So Belleville looked rather empty and desolate, which I thought kind of fit the mood for what we're talking about. And my wife and I, we just drove around town with a 360 camera on the car and just got these views of not quite empty streets, but Belleville on a gray day. And I think it set the mood quite well for what we were talking about in this.
Yeah, well, earlier, just a few weeks ago, we learned that, of course, all the services at Bridge United Church will eventually move to that Bridge Integrated Care Hub, 1 Alhambra Square. City of Belleville working on it now. Going to be open, they expect earliest, maybe the first floor in fall, but they're running into a bit of snag with reconstructing that building. Of course, temporary, we're also starting to hear that services from Bridge Street United Church are going to go down to 125 Church Street just in the meantime to kind of get things going. So with all this stuff and with all you've learned, kind of, Doug, especially with the federal government now putting in over $3 million to help the city with this project, where do you think this is going to go? Do you think the Bridge New Integrated Care Hub is a good idea, moving services from Bridge to United Church to 1 Alhambra Square?
Well, I do. One of the interviews that we conducted was with Steve Vanderhoff, who's the interim director of the hub, and he gives quite a good summary of where the project's at, what the hopes are. At that point, there was not the funding in place, so it was like, this is what we hope. And it's nice to see that, funding is coming in. It's always a question of, do you move the problem from one place to another? But I think everybody agrees that right in the downtown core is not maybe the best place to host services like this. I mean, anybody who's traveling through town or visiting, I mean, that's what they see. And I mean, I don't like the idea of hiding it away either, but I think a more dedicated facility will make a difference in both those who receive the services and for the people of Belleville itself. And I don't believe Bridge Street Church is actually giving up their mission or their program. It may be more concentrated at the hub, but I believe they'll be, providing services as well from their location.
Yeah,
don't quote me on that.
Yeah, well, regardless, I mean, Bridge Street was the one that was stepped up the most, put their hand up first, and it was only supposed to be a temporary thing, and here we are several years later. So, Doug, for you, with kind of your filmmaking projects, what do you have going on these days for 2025?
Well, I've got a lot in the pot. Not much is stirring in the pot these days. COVID was it was devastating, and I certainly have not bounced back. Working on a project with the Hasty Peas on something that I actually shot 30 some years ago, and I'm using AI technology to up-res and enhance the footage that we shot 30 some years ago, and it's quite surprising. It's shocking, really, to see how you can bring some of this old footage back to life. But because the story they tell is just like it's priceless. I mean, these guys went through hell, and 81 years ago now, and they talk amongst themselves like they would not talk to anybody else. Veterans talking to veterans, and we were like an eavesdropping fly on the wall to listen to their story. So that's a project I'm working with the museum, and as I say, I've got several other projects ready to go. Hopefully we'll go soon, but just nothing confirmed yet. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, looking forward to continuing spreading the word about your latest project. Once again, Hunger at Home, Food Insecurity in Belleville, now playing on this channel, your TV Quinty. Doug Knutson, once again, the filmmaker behind this from Windswept Productions. Doug, so great to meet you. Congrats on everything so far, and looking forward to seeing what else you have in store for the rest of the year.
Thanks very much.